Hey, everybody. So, tonight I want to talk to you about something that most people do every single day without realizing it. We ignore our bodies. We override hunger. We override fullness. We override exhaustion. We override pain, stress. We override poor sleep. We override inflammation and cravings and anxiety, and we override digestive issues. And after doing that long enough, we stop recognizing the signals altogether. We start calling dysfunction normal. We say things like, I'm tired all the time, or I need coffee to function, or I've always had stomach problems. I'm an emotional eater. Oh, I'm getting older. I've always had bad skin. I can't sleep. I can't stop snacking. I have no self control, right? So these statements become part of how people describe themselves. They become part of your story and they become part of your identity. So tonight I want to slow it down and take a little bit of a different look at this. Many of the things that people have accepted as normal are actually signals. The body may have been talking for years and modern life have trained us to ignore it. Welcome to Hey Sister Girl. My name is Robyn Herron and I am your carnivorous grandma. I'm certified in nutrition in the standard American diet, which I do not recommend, and I'm also a KILTS certified health coach. I'm not a medical doctor, y'all. This show is for educational, encouragement, and information only. So always work with your qualified healthcare professional when making decisions about your health, medications, or medical conditions. All right, y'all. I know y'all see the elephant that's not in the room. My friend G, she is out on a cruise. She's living her best life. She's over in the Mediterranean and just having a wonderful time. And we're over here cheering her on while she is cruising the world. We're going to keep this conversation going. So, over the past few weeks, we've been talking a lot about the healthcare system. We talked about the prescription trap. We talked about the food system. We talked about the way people get pulled into management of symptoms instead of healing and how hard it can be to get out of the web once you're inside. So tonight I want to take the conversation a little bit deeper because systems matter, food policy matters, medical guidelines matter, pharmaceutical influence matters, but there's another layer that we need to talk about, and that is your conditioning. Hey everybody, let me know where you guys are watching from down in the chat. I see y'all coming in. Good evening, good evening. So glad that you are here. All right. So what has happened? Modern life has trained us to stop listening to our bodies, right? So when a person is trained to ignore hunger, ignore exhaustion, inflammation, stress, poor sleep, cravings, and pain, they can live for years inside dysfunction and never even question it. And that's where a lot of us were or are right now, asking, what can I take so that I can keep going? Or what can I take so that I can go to sleep, right? We're asking how to manage the symptom, asking how we can push through another day. And I understand that because I lived it, right? So 3 years ago, I started carnivore, a little over 3 years ago now. I started carnivore February 22nd, 2023. My body was screaming for help. I was dealing with obesity, hypertension, years of chronic. Let me show y'all my pictures. Let me just show you the picture because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? This is how my skin was, right? I was dealing with chronic, what I thought was eczema. And I just thought, this is normal. But my body was literally screaming for help. I normalized all of that. So I had anxiety. The anxiety was crazy, absolutely insane. Racing thoughts, food obsession, and inflammation, and just thought all of that was just normal. I thought that was my life. I thought that being tired was normal. I thought being inflamed was normal, constantly thinking about food. Anybody else have that problem or had that problem? Constantly thinking about food, talking about food every minute of every day. I thought that anxiety and racing thoughts were just how my mind worked. And I thought digestive problems were something I just needed to live with. I thought that skin issues were a part of my story. And turns out it wasn't. What I now know is that my body was communicating with me, and I had been trained to ignore the message. So, this modern culture that we live in, it teaches us to override ourselves constantly. We eat because the clock says it's time to eat. We snack because the food is available. We stay awake because the entertainment never stops. The show never stops, right? We drink caffeine to push through exhaustion. We use sugar to lift our mood. We use food to calm our emotions and scrolling to avoid sitting still and being in quietness, right? We use busyness to avoid feeling. Hi, Tara. I'm so glad you're here. After a while, we become disconnected from the basic signals of the body. We lose touch with what real hunger feels like. We lose touch with what real fullness feels like. We lose touch with our stable energy. We lose touch with restful sleep. Mental calm, what is that? We don't even know. And then the normal digestion, oh my goodness, we don't even know what that is, right? So we lose touch with what it feels like to wake up without inflammation. And because so many people around us are struggling too, it all starts to look normal. That is the danger. Dysfunction because comes common, and then common gets mistaken for normal. But common does not mean healthy, right? Just because something that's happening all around you does not mean that it's healthy, right? So our bodies were not designed to live in this constant state of exhaustion, inflammation, craving, and distress. Our bodies are always communicating. And the problem is that our modern life is loud. It's too loud. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Sugar is loud. We talk about how them glucose molecules come out, and then and then your insulin starts tapping on the cells, right? And it gets louder and louder, and the cells are like, I'm not letting you in. I'm not letting you in. So all of these modern systems are very loud. The processed food system, it's loud to our bodies, right? Being stressed out all the time is loud. And when everything around us is loud, our body's signals gets drowned out. So we just keep on pushing, baby. We keep on overriding what our body is trying to tell us. And I'm telling you, with that skin issue that I had, I was just continuing to go to doctor after doctor after doctor, getting steroid treatments, getting injections, using creams and ointments and all of the things, and nothing was curing that, right? So my body was being loud. If you look those pictures, that body was loud, right? I want to show you the pictures of my hands because the hands was like, oh my gosh, look at that. My hands and feet. Hands look like raw hamburger on the inside. What is the body trying to say? And why is no one telling me that my body's trying to communicate? There's something that my body is trying to tell me about what's going on, right? So instead of asking, what can I take for this? We need to be asking, what can I do about this, right? We know that there's a time and a place for medical care, right? But there's also a deeper question that's worth asking. This is the question I want you to ask if you have chronic illness. It is, why is my body struggling in the first place? What are the inputs that are creating this output? What am I eating? How am I sleeping? How am I managing stress? Am I moving my body? Am I constantly stimulated? Am I giving my body what it needs to heal? Did you know that your body could heal itself? I was thinking about this today while I was walking at work. Just the fact that most of us don't even realize that the body is designed to heal. It's a healing machine, right? So, but your body does respond to inputs. That's our biology, right? So, one of the things that I see often that is very concerning to me is that symptoms become personality traits. You're owning it. You're really, really going to own it. Some people say, "Don't talk to me before I have my coffee," or "I'm always tired." Oh, how about this one? I need something sweet. I might have to have a dessert after every meal. I might have to just have a little mini candy bar after every meal. I have no self control. I cannot function without snacks. What about this one? I would rather be happy than healthy. I've always been this way. These things sound normal because we hear them sometimes and we hear people saying these things, but they might be symptoms or signals rather than part of your identity. These things may be your body waving a flag and saying something is off, something needs attention, something needs to change. Because once symptoms become identity, people stop looking for healing. That's so sad. When someone believes that they're simply an anxious person, this was me. I thought I'm just an anxious person. It's going to continue to get progressively worse until I will not be able to leave my house, and never asking what was driving the anxiety. Right? If you believe you have no self-control, you might never ask whether sugar consumption and ultra processed foods are hijacking your appetite. Right? So if you believe that you are tired all the time because you're getting older, you might never ask whether blood sugar, sleep, stress, or nutrition are part of the problem, right? So, and then the other thing I want to say is if you believe that I just have bad digestion, I just have IBS, I'm just constipated all the time, or I just have diarrhea all the time, or I just have diverticulosis, or whatever I have a bad gut. You might never ask the question of whether the foods you're eating are irritating your gut, right? When somebody believes that inflammation is just a part of my life, I woke up and I can't lift my arm. Come on. Might never ask whether your lifestyle is pouring gasoline on the fire, right? So, we have normalized this misery. We really have. We have normalized misery, functioning and working, taking care of families. We're showing up at church. We're serving. We're doing all the things. We're smiling and we're pushing through. But inside, we're exhausted, inflamed, anxious, discouraged, frustrated, food obsessed, and tired of starting over. Oh, Bill says I'm making highly processed food called deviled eggs. Yum, 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 yum. Sounds really, really good. Oh, Codification Inc. says it's just good old fashioned addiction, ma'am. Sugar and processed foods are addictive. 100% welcome, everybody. So glad that you are here. So here's the thing, you do not have to accept this dysfunction as your identity. Begin to pay attention again. Begin to ask better questions. If you're just asking the question of what can I take for this? And I've been there and done that because I really was a person who would take a pill for something. I've changed, but I would take a pill. If I couldn't sleep, I would take a pill for that. Even when I started to get all this anxiety, I contacted my doctor and said, give me a pill for this because I'm not going to be able to function. Hey, Linda, welcome. So glad you're here. Yeah. So the question shouldn't be like, what can I take for this? But what is actually causing this? What is the root cause of this problem? And I can pretty much tell you it's the food. Pretty much. Yeah, it's the food. So begin to pay attention again. Ask those better questions. Begin to reconnect with your body. And it doesn't really require perfection, but it does require awareness and honesty and willingness, right? And also, it really truly does require courage, right? It requires courage to do this. Requires changing the inputs. What are you putting in? You need to change that, right? So when all your systems are under pressure, we just continue to suffer. We just really, really suffer. And that is why shallow advice is very frustrating. We talk about eat less, move more, have self control, all things in moderation, and all of that is just, it doesn't explain what's happening inside your body. You need to understand the biology of it, right? So when you're constantly eating sugar and refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar and insulin are being driven up again and again. If you're eating 6, 7, 8 times a day, your insulin and your blood glucose are surging up multiple times a day, right? So those habits matter. If you're eating all that sugar, you need to stop it. Just cut it out, okay? Stop eating all that sugar, right? So when you understand that it's biology, right? Your overweight problem, your chronic health condition is based on biology, then you can release the shame that goes along with that, right? Your question shifts from what's wrong with me? Why am I all, I'm telling y'all, I was a yo-yo dieter. I yo-yoed back and forth over and over and over again. I don't know if I have that picture in here. Let me see if I can find it. I was just yo-yoing back and forth. I was up and down and all around with my weight. I don't think I have that picture in here. Darn. Sorry, you guys. But I thought it was just the way that it is. It's just the way that I am. I'm going to just have to deal with the fact that I am a yo-yo dieter. And in fact, somebody told me that I was a perpetual dieter, and I just took on ownership of that, right? Shame, the shame of that. Now, so going from what's wrong with me, why can't I get this thing under control, to what's literally happening inside my body? That's a much better question. Because when you start to ask the question of what's happening inside of your body, you're able to start to think about change, right? And have some hope and release the shame. Your body is still talking, even though you've been ignoring it. Even if you've ignored it for years, even if you have overridden it for decades, even if you normalize the symptoms, even if you feel disconnected, your body is still communicating, right? It communicates through hunger, fullness, cravings, energy, mood. How are you able to sleep? It communicates through your digestive system. And how is your digestion? Skin and inflammation, pain, blood pressure. Did I tell y'all that I was going towards chronic hypertension, which runs in my family? Yeah, I was on my way with hypertension and had to get on medication for it, and realized, wait a minute, what is happening inside my body that's causing my blood pressure to elevate? And was able to eliminate high blood pressure through ketogenic way of eating. Yes, that's how I eliminated my blood pressure. My high, not my all my blood pressure, but my high blood pressure. I eliminated that, right? So yeah, high blood sugars, they used to tell us, hey, Christy, they used to tell us that that diabetes was chronic and incurable. And now it's like, yes, you can reverse your diabetes in a very short period of time, right? What about mental clarity and mental health, right? I'm telling y'all, I had racing thoughts. I had so many fears. I was afraid of everything. Literally, I was afraid of the shadows of the trees as I was driving my car. Mental illness, that's what I call that. That's like a mental issue, right? I was worried all the time, afraid all the time. That emotional stability came from changing my inputs. So, yeah, your body's giving feedback all day long. I'll tell you one thing that happened to me. I'm here at the hotel because I'm out here in what I like to call Waukesha, Wisconsin. And basically, they had breakfast here at the hotel, and I ate 2 sausage patties. And my body started talking. Now, back in the day, I might not have been able to hear that body talking. But because my clean eating lifestyle, I'm able to tell immediately if something doesn't agree with me, right? So even though the sausage patties were good, I probably cannot eat those. So I have to leave that stuff alone. When you simplify your lifestyle, your signals become easier to hear. And this is really the basic reason I believe so strongly in a primarily animal-based way of eating, right? So you can call it carnivore, you can call it sugar-free living, you can call it primarily animal-based, you can call it a proper human diet. Call it whatever you want to call it, but I'm talking about eating meat. Okay? Eating primarily meat. It removes a lot of the noise. And so if you want to consider it, and as I did when I started out a little over 3 years ago, I thought I was going to do this for 90 days. 90 days. I thought I would do this for 90 days, and then I would go back to start adding stuff back in. And come to find out, all of those things that I wanted to try to add in caused me problems. All kinds of problems. My skin problem, my allergies. Y'all, I'm outside walking. Anybody else dealing with chronic pollen? Like the pollen is crazy right now. And I'm outside walking and I'm not sneezing and my eyes are not running and my nose is not running. All of those things, it all came when I switched to a primarily animal-based way of eating. What does it do? It removes sugar completely. It's a sugar-free lifestyle. It removes ultra-processed foods. So all those packages and boxes and all the stuff that has all these lists of ingredients that you can't even read the names of them. You don't even know what that stuff is. It's a bunch of chemicals. Leave it alone. It removes common trigger foods, right? And simplifies decision making. I'm going to tell you, I'm about to be cooking up in here in a few minutes. As soon as my groceries arrive from Meijer, I'm going to be frying myself a steak and some eggs. And that's what I'm going to be having. Simple. I don't have to think about what am I going to eat. Prioritizing protein and fat. It supports satiety, which means that I don't be hungry. Like today, I ate that breakfast this morning. I had scrambled eggs with 3 pats of butter. And then I had the 2 sausage patties, and then I skipped lunch. I didn't need to eat again because I wasn't hungry, so I was able to go outside and go for a walk. Yeah, it helps people learn what real hunger feels like. Stop grazing all day and gives your body a clearer signal, right? So you got to be responsible, to be honest. Be responsible. If you, Christy says, I love a good grocery delivery. I had a picanha. Hush your mouth. I can't get no picanha around this over here in the what part of, oh my God, in the East. I can't get it. All right. So if you're on medications, especially for blood sugar or blood pressure, and you're going to consider sugar elimination, you need to monitor those things closely. Work with your qualified health professional because things can and will change if you are switching to a primarily animal-based way of eating. That blood glucose is going to come down. I had somebody tell me that they actually tried carnivore for just a couple of days, and they got so scared they quit because the blood sugar came down so fast. You need to be aware that that will happen. So, so I encourage people to start with 90 days by simplifying your food, eliminating sugar, eating real food, prioritizing animal-based protein and fat. getting hydration and using those electrolytes, particularly if you are just starting, you should probably get you some electrolytes and consume those. Walk, get some sunlight in the morning. Go to bed, turn your phone off. Don't look at me, y'all. Turn your phone off, Robyn. Yeah, reduce that constant snacking and constant scrolling. Reduce chaos where you can. So then you want to pay attention. Pay attention to what your body does after you eat. After you eat, are you getting so exhausted that you can barely function? You need to pay attention to that. After you eat, pay attention to your digestion. How does your stomach feel? I was telling you guys about those sausage patties. Those do not really agree with me. Pay attention to your cravings. Pay attention to how you sleep. Pay attention to your mood, because awareness is also information. And your body's been giving you information all along. So how do we start listening to our bodies again? Here's what I think. Start by refusing to call everything normal just because it's common. Common does not equal healthy. Pay attention to all those things that are going on with your skin and your cravings and you're, hangry all the time, all that stuff. You need to pay attention to that because those are signals of something that's going wrong, right? And so removing that, we want to get rid of that. All right. I'm going to kind of stop it right there, even though I could probably talk for another half an hour. 113/75. What is that, Bill Cook? Yeah. So tonight, if this message is resonating with you, I want you to think about this. Where have you been ignoring your body? Where have you called symptoms your personality? Where have you accepted exhaustion, inflammation, cravings, anxiety, poor sleep, or digestive issues as just how life is? Maybe your body's trying to get your attention. And maybe this is the season where you start listening again. Yeah, you don't have to overhaul everything. Christy. Christy says, somebody stopped by my channel to tell me that respectfully, my eating is dumb and I should just eat normal food. Yeah, I want you to go ahead and look around at all those normal people and all their normal issues and know that just because something common does not mean it's good, right? Yeah. So, yeah, start telling yourself the truth. This food is not working for you. It's not. It is not. And I had to really face that fact when I determined that dairy was not my friend. I can do a little bit of butter. That's about it, though. I was eating cheese on everything. Y'all go back and look at my old videos. I was eating a cheese on everything. And cheese is a main culprit for me, for my skin. Had no idea. Did you know that green leafies like mint and kale and all those little green leafy parsleys and all that stuff cause anxiety for me? Peppers, yeah, I can't tolerate that stuff. I would have never figured it out if I had not gone animal-based. So if you're looking for a community, I want to invite you to the Hey Sister Girl Facebook group. That is our free community where we continue these conversations and encourage each other in lifestyle change. Also, I have a Marco Polo group that is, if you want get a little bit closer and have that 24/7 connection, Marco Polo is for you. You can see I believe I have the links down in the description box. And then if you're ready for structured support, I offer coaching. Me and my coach friend, Sherrod Brown, offer coaching through CG Health Coaching, which is my 90-day on-ramp to help you, men and women, simplify the lifestyle, reduce sugar and processed foods, build consistency, troubleshoot challenges, and create a way of eating and living that supports healing. Finally, I want to make sure that you guys all know about Impact, Meetup, and Eat Up with CarnivorousGrama and Friends coming up September 5th, 2026. And 11 to 4 is the main event. And then 4:30 to 7 7:30, 4:30 to 7, 4:30 until will be the after party. We're going to have all of your favorites here. You got Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, Nurse Laura will be there. We've got Ariana Herron, PAC. We got Sherrod Brown, the Meat Man, and Meet Julia, plus a number of other influencers are going to be coming in. I hope to see you there. I really, really do. You can scan the QR code and come and sign up for Impact. It is going to be awesome. 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 Did I mention that we're going to be screening the Healing Humanity documentary? Yes, Carrie Mann and Jen and Emma. And I'm not sure if Katie is coming, but I hope to see them. But yes, they're all going to be in the house or outside, as the case may be. And we are going to be screening that movie. So we are looking forward to that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I think G has 2 more weeks before I think she'll be back in 2 weeks. So we'll be back next Monday night with another episode of Hey Sister Girl. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.